very good morning to all of you who are watching us. My name is Kwame Usudanso. This is your #1 station. Let nobody deceive you. Pan-African television is the obvious choice for morning, unbiased, frank, brutally frank discussions. And I am super elated to be seated here this morning. We're going to be dealing with a lot of the issues which have come up. And I believe that we are going to be as frank as possible. We are going to be citizens and not spectators. We are going to deal with the issues devoid of emotion, sentiment, and devoid of partisanship. And so bear in mind that if you are not ready for truth, if you are not ready for honesty, then you might as well just tune off, because we are going to be brutally honest. We have a nation to build, and all of us have a responsibility in that regard. Dr. Aya is here seated. He represents the NDC, one of the young people that I really like, and I believe he has some great prospects for the National Democratic Congress. I'm prophesying that in the next few months, he will be the most sought after communicator for the NDC. Even though he started, he's doing very well. But I want to believe that in the next foreseeable weeks, he will be the face of NDC's communication. I have prophesied. Mark it on the wall. It shall happen. Our very own Dr. Marzouk, and all of you do know Dr. Marzouk. He's the most famous communicators on Pan-African television. We all love him. And one of the lecturers who came for the interview said, I love this man, Dr. Marzouk. Very objective, very independent-minded, very Ghanaian, very patriotic, and he discusses matters passionately and also dispassionately. And so this morning I believe that we are going to do that on the show. Let me quickly, respectfully take you through the topics we've tabled for today's conversation. South Africa law at center of Trump row challenged in court. Now let me tell you something. You know that in the last maybe 4 or 5 days, there has been an altercation between Donald Trump, Elon Musk, Julius Malema, Cyril Ramaphosa, government of the United States of America, and government of South Africa. And the issue primarily is predicated on a video that was posted, or in fact an interview that Julius Malema granted, in which it was not an interview, I think it was a speech that he was delivering, in which he had indicated also that the white minority ought to be slaughtered by the black majority, particularly because they've taken over their lands. Now, this video was shared on X and reposted by Elon Musk and captioned it that sanctions must be placed on Julius Malema and he be described as international criminal. To wit, a terrorist, sort of. Julius Malema quite, expeditiously responded to that tweet by describing Elon Musk as having a problem with his left brain, and that he's been pampered. He's benefited from the apartheid. Elon Musk originally is from South Africa. He's benefited from apartheid, and so that is why he's making such unsavory remarks about the video that he posted. Right now, it caught the attention of Donald Trump, who then responded by cutting aid to South Africa. Cyril Ramaphosa and his government immediately swung into action by responding to that particular action taken by the United States government by saying that, but you people, it's just the USAID. Even the USAID, you are saying that you are closing it down. We only get 17% out of the aids that we receive for the purposes of dealing with persons living with HIV and AIDS, right? And so if you say you are cutting all aids to us, it does not affect us anyway. Now, people are reading bigger political meanings into it. People think, or people are certain, that it is not in respect of the position of Julius Malema and by extension the position of the black majority in South Africa. People are actually saying that it appears that America is unhappy because of South Africa's involvement in BRICS. That's the bottom line. And which is why the person who's supposed to represent the United States of America at the G20 summit is saying that he is withdrawing. He is no longer attending the summit. Now, what is the background? A law was passed sometime in January requesting the government of South Africa to expropriate all lands belonging to persons who benefited from the loot during South Africa apartheid, right? And so some of them, they receive compensation, others would not receive compensation. This is the whole crux of the matter. Now, the question that has been lingering on my mind, which I'm going to pose to my respectable panelists here this morning, is whether or not the law was supposed to be enforced. That's question one. Number two, whether or not the United States of America had any right whatsoever to pry into the internal operations of South Africa, particularly because they have also taken some singular decisions or singular actions which, in the estimation of the generality of the people of the world, is at variance with the world order, particularly throwing their support behind Israel, throwing their support behind Ukraine, and all of these ancillary matters, right? So if you can independently take some decisions, independently form ICE, independently form Dodge, then what right do you have to now pry into the affairs of South African government and ask questions if indeed the South African government also thinks that the way it can address the teething challenges confronting the good people of South Africa is to introduce a law that will expropriate lands which were stolen, by the way, by this white minority? Why should there be a problem? And on the basis of that, we have kickstarted the conversation. Let me respectfully start with you, Dr. Marzouk.
Good morning to the cherished viewers of ours. Good morning to my co-panelists, and special good morning to our champion host. And thanks for the opportunity. The future VIP.
Alhamdulillah.
Of the Republic of Ghana.
Alhamdulillah.
Inshallah.
Alhamdulillah.
Yes, very soon. Inshallah. When Ghanaians have when they come to realize the dangers of partisanship over patriotism, then of course you will definitely be yes.
Oh, by the way, respectfully, before you go on, let me also share the other topic so people can start drafting their messages. Sure. Respectfully, I'm sorry.
No problem, that's fine.
Mahama revokes all public sector appointments made after December 7. Fighting corruption, Ghana's CPI, that's Corruption Perception Index, drops from 43 to 42 in 2024. 9 years after MP's brutal murder, JB Dankwa Abu's wife cries for justice. So let me now come to the South African matter. And then,
once again, special good morning to everybody. You have posed two questions.
Indeed.
One, whether it is appropriate for South Africa to enact the law. Two, whether it is, let me put it in my own words, please.
Oh,
but
please,
the sense will be the same thing. Whether it is appropriate for America to extend its imperialist nonsense into the domestic affairs of South Africa.
Indeed.
I think I'm right.
Yeah.
Right, in different ways.
You are right. You are very, very right.
So, both of them. One.
Yep.
South Africa has every right as a sovereign nation to enact a law that will be in the interest of the good people of South Africans. This is in line with international law. This is in line with civility. This is in line with legality. This is in line with decency. This is in line with objectivity. This is in line with sovereignty. So South Africa has every right to come out with any law that it thinks is in the interest of the people of the country. It has the right. Two, America, as another sovereign nation, does not have any right to dictate to South Africa. This is also in line with the concept of sovereignty, in line with decency in global order, in line with objectivity, in line with legality. These are factual. based on that, I will now explain.
Proceed.
The first one. We all know that South Africa has been a victim of apartheid.
Indeed.
America served as oxygen for the apartheid. America and other Western imperialists served. In fact, they nourished the apartheid. And they substantially benefited from the apartheid regime, the white minority. So if South Africa now decides to right the wrongs of apartheid, I strongly believe that it is in line with decency. It is in line with South African political interest. It is in line with global objectivity. South Africa will continue to come out with affirmative actions. And let me tell you, my brother, any affirmative action is on the face value discriminatory. But when you do deeper analysis of that action, then you realize that it is constructive discrimination, because it is supposed to right another structural injustice. A structural injustice is what has been done to people out of policies. So in terms of policy formulation, if anybody suffers injustice out of the policy formulation and implementation, then that becomes structural injustice. Clearly, the apartheid regime was suppressive. It was designed to undermine the African. It was designed to weaken the African. It was designed to manipulate the African. It was designed to dupe the African. So after the end of the apartheid, definitely all these wrongs must be righted. And if there is any affirmative action which is accepted in global governance, in national governance, in constitutional governance, in legal affairs, affirmative action is accepted. So if it is accepted, then there is nothing wrong with South Africa. Even if that law is wrong, it is up to the people of South Africa to challenge it. Not the imperialist America and its allies. Not at all. America does not and cannot. Unless, of course, we are using a different global order. And of course, I mean, even if we are using a different global order, South Africa also has the right to stand up to America. And then South Africa has done it. So the law is part of the policies that have been designed to empower the blacks. You know, we have black empowerment programs. Yeah. That policy falls within those programs. Right. So it is important for America to understand that it is dealing with a sovereign African nation, a nation that has been a victim of apartheid, a nation that has been a victim of white supremacy, a nation that has been a victim of discrimination, and today that nation is leading the fight to revive the power of the African. And you know, behind the scenes, it is not America's behavior could be traceable to so many things, so many. What you have mentioned is only one. Another is the strength, the bravery of South Africa to challenge the genocidal impunity in Gaza, the American supremacy in other parts of the world, in the World Court. And South Africa packaged its case in a very convincing manner. To America, it was unbelievable for South Africa to drag the so-called powers of the world to a recognized world body, a recognized court of competent jurisdiction for the whole world, and it was impossible. To them, it was not possible. Today, it is possible. South Africa will continue to stand up to America, and I think South Africa is opening the gate for other African nations to understand the power of self-reliance over dependency mentality. As long as African leaders remain in the pit of dependency mentality, they will never free themselves from Western imperialism and from undermining by the Western powers. I strongly believe that South Africa is right, and then if you give me the opportunity, let me explain why America is also not right.
I wanted you to quickly touch on the disagreements within the governmental operations of South Africa, particularly because of the disagreement from, the opposition DA. Now they have formed more like a 10-party coalition for the purpose of governing, because ANC lost its majority, in the last election, parliamentary majority in the last election. So now they are saying that the law in itself, should not have been signed. And they kicked against it. So they are saying that Cyril Ramaphosa signed the bill into law without taking the advice of the other political actors and players. In fact, they are saying that if there should be any law, it should be a law that is protecting the rights of people against expropriation. Particularly expropriation which does not come with compensation. But, let's look at it from a broader perspective, because how do you live in a country where just about 7% of the population are the ones who are owning 85% of the landmass in South Africa?
That itself is
so
unjust.
So, and if you check the background of the DA, they are white.
Yes.
They're Afrikaners. So it's a bigger conversation. Even in South Africa, there is this, disagreement, which is so glaring, in respect of even the responses from the other political parties relative to the law which is in place now. That's why I just wanted you to, and I believe that it is against the backdrop of this internal disagreement, even within the governmental operational system, which is what is giving the United States of America, the oxygen, to even want to question the
legitimacy of the law. Okay, first of all, we should all agree that disagreements are norms of constitutional governance.
Yes.
So they are good. They are not necessarily bad. They are good. In fact, they are to enhance the quality of governance. Then, within the context of sociology, we are also dealing with group dynamics. Definitely, when you have a group, you will have to be prepared for agreements and disagreements.
Absolutely.
These are all symptoms of group dynamics. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But before I continue, let me make my position clear that I value the sanctity of human soul and human body. Even the sanctity of the bodies and the souls of the imperialists and the bloody corrupt people controlling and disorganizing international order. I value them. And therefore, I do not agree with Malema that the wise should be murdered.
Right.
I don't agree. If there's anything at all, they should be handled within the context of law. I strongly believe that Malema's inciting or Malema's position that South African wives should be murdered is not within the confines of decency, legality, and rationality. So I do not agree. And if you give me the opportunity again, I will let you know that definitely, the fact that people are disagreeing does not mean that an external force, an imperialist, should come and decide for the people. Are the Americans telling me that there are no disagreements in American politics? And the Democrats opposing the Republicans, and the Republicans and the Democrats holding different positions. Are they not poles apart? And they poles apart. Now, tell me, when the issue of LGBTQ erupted in this country, most of these Western nations threatened to sanction people. Now, Trump doesn't like LGBTQ. Go and sanction him. So the kind of hypocrisy, blood-soaked hypocrisy of the imperialists and their allies must stop. This is not in line with global order. And I think the global order itself must be reviewed to reflect objectivity respect and decency in the conduct of human affairs. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let me welcome into the studios my brother and friend George AEC. Good morning to you. Glad to have you in the studios.
To be here.
Let me come to you, Dr. Aye, on the subject matter, and then we'll take a view from Mr. AEC, and then we'll proceed.
Very well. Thank you. Good morning to you, my co-panelists, and our viewers watching us this morning. I'm happy to be here. I think this is my first time coming here after the election. We want to congratulate and thank the people of Ghana for this massive victory that they have given to the NDC. You know that His Excellency the President is doing far beyond what is expected. You know that at the last reckoning, we counted that the President had achieved 7 out of 26 interventions in the 120-day social contract. He did it in the first 26 days in record time. About 27% of that was achieved in the first 26 days out of the 120 days. It is something that we must commend the President about. He has been resolute, he has been consistent, he has shown true loyalty and fidelity to the people of Ghana. And we are happy to speak for him, we are happy to associate with him, and we are happy to let the people of Ghana know that the mandate they bestowed on us, we do not take it lightly, and we are ever ready to deliver on the mandate that they have given us. That aside, I think that this is a wake-up call for all of us. They say that he who feeds you controls your mind. America has the wit, they have the effrontery, they have the temerity to say the things they want to say, to embark on what they deem fit, because they know that at the end of the day they are the ones supporting us. Is that not it? They know that they are bringing millions of dollars, if not billions, to Africa from their own kitty, for which reason they may be able to embark on what they are embarking on now. But like I said, it is a wake-up call for all African leaders to take steps to achieve self-sufficiency and self-reliance. We must live within our means. We must cut our coats according to our size. And let me borrow the words of my boss, the Honorable Felix Kwachofosu. We must not live a champagne life on an appetition budget. Look, we live in a country where many years ago, at the time the people in the country are reeling under intense economic hardship, the leadership of this country claim to have a certain priority of priorities, completely different from what the people actually want, completely different from the bread and butter issues, what the people are actually suffering from. So when you live a life of that, and at the end of the day, you do not have any money left for you to feed your people, you rely on foreign aid, you rely on US aid, you rely on JICA, you rely on other international aids in order to supplement your budget. And there is no free lunch. The moment a person feeds you, the moment a person supports you, they are required to demand some benefit from you in one way or the other. You understand the point I'm making? Yeah. So it is a wake-up call for all African leaders to look into their pocket before they embark on things. They should engage in financial prudence before they plan about how to govern a country. Number two, like you rightfully said, this is a Cold War. It is an ideological war. You know that South Africa, like you rightfully said, is now associated with BRICS. Yep. In fact, they form a major pillar in BRICS. United States, does not believe in the ideologies of BRICS. They see BRICS as an existential threat to their interest. Right. So definitely they will also go a long way to make sure that they bring chaos, divisions in South Africa, so that they do not have the capacity, the weight to support the activities of BRICS. That is at the core of this whole impasse, as far as I am concerned. Right. And there is no doubt about it. You understand the point? Yeah. Yes. So fundamentally, this is not the first time the United States is, going into other territories. You recall what happened in Libya, what has happened in Gaza, and other places. You understand the point I'm making? So for me, United States, they believe that they have the capacity because they are the controller of the world's economy. You understand the point I'm making? But
so they think.
So they think. You understand the point? So they think. But we must also, as a continent, define the boundaries. So that they do not enter our domains to do whatever they want to do.
Unfortunately, I won't let you respond to, speak to this matter because of the time that you came in, if you don't mind.
No, what has the time got?
No, because,
submissions going on.
Yes.
I was in a long time ago.
Okay,
I thought
proceed.
we'd be on air.
Proceed.
I was here around 6:30.
Really?
Yeah.
So where were you? I didn't see you.
I was down there.
Down where?
Anytime you ask me to come here, I get here.
Oh, I see. I didn't see you.
Yeah, I didn't park here. I didn't park here. I was down there.
No, we don't have an argument. I'm not arguing with you.
Yes.
I'm only simply saying that.
Every time I build on your show, I get here at 6:30. Yes. Sometimes I park there.
Very well. I don't want us to look at the other domestic matters. That is why. Because I thought that would take a lot of the time. But if you can.
Yeah, you get I argue all the time to do talking on that.
Because the South African situation, in my estimation.
Be fair, not allowed. Even the person.
Doc got short time. Doc got short time. Okay, thank you. Good morning. Good morning to you, Council.
On the political matters, I'll give you longer time.
Yeah, okay. Good morning, Council. Good morning to my co-panelists. The South Africa issue vis-a-vis decisions by Trump. Look, let's face it. As Alhaji said, the process leading to the land acquisition by that 7% you just put out were actually problematic. About 7% owning 85% of the land, who are the original owners of that land. And as he said, it's because of apartheid that led to that disadvantage opportunities to the whites against the blacks. Okay, Zimbabwe did something. The land redistribution policy, post 2000 ago. So, and they made it a deliberate policy. And look, some of these decisions have international consequences. And Mugabe was ready for that. He damned them and said, look, I'm going ahead to do it. If you don't agree, he even called the Queen some names and all that. This is his country. And post-apartheid, there's rebuilding of South Africa. And so steps must be taken to ensure that land ownership, that is the key thing to drive the development of South Africa. And so they've made a policy decision. And what it is that the Land Expropriation Act and all that, in the Act of 1975, you decide to either sell it or take it, they call it buying or a willing buyer and then a willing seller. Those concepts were brought in for them. Well, Council, we look at it at this way. When it was done by the whites, we were not happy. Okay? Are we cool with the other way now? By saying we take it without compensation, nothing. Yes, originally is owned by the blacks. But then, are we right to say we take it without compensation? Or what negotiations are we going to involve these 7% in, and then, we take the land? It cannot be absolute that no compensation. Okay? Because, yes, they took it in a way that was inappropriate. Are you also going to repeat the same mistakes that they did? Because you're living with them. You're coexisting. Mandela decided, let's live together. post, independence, he decided not to come out with vengeance government and others. So going forward, what do we do? So I think they should get engaged. So,
a very important point you brought to the fore.
Yes.
And I think it's important that sometimes when we're having these African conversations, we do parity with events which have occasion in other countries.
Yes.
How post whether colonialism, post genocide, and all of that, how leaders are able to bring all the people together and to forge a united front for the purposes of the advancement of development, right, and growth and transformation. If you look at Rwanda, and I always cite that example, I'm not saying they are perfect. It's not a perfect example of democracy or leadership, right?
It's a style
but your ability to bring everybody together to understand the direction of the country is equally very important.
Very, very important.
Questions have been asked about the fact that South Africa actually didn't do much after 1994. After Mandela's release, they, in the estimation of many, they thought that Mandela would have designed a roadmap or a blueprint that will guide the country's redistribution of the lands going forward, because it was one of the fundamental issues affecting the smooth transition from apartheid into the current democratic dispensation. So failure of which, in the estimation of many, is why we are here today. That sometimes we fail to deal with the hard rock decisions because we don't want to offend another actor in the exercise of that. So don't you think that perhaps the decision to expropriate lands right now is the best decision, so that because we don't know what kind of youth may emerge in the next foreseeable future in South Africa who will be very brutal, brutish, and very heretic, that they can even just go after them and start slaughtering people and killing people. Is it not important to to swallow the bitter pill now and damn the consequences and restructure the land acquisition or architecture in South Africa now rather than later?
Yeah, you did bring in the Mandela era. Timing is very important in everything. At that time, Mandela's objective was conciliatory. Okay, the environment wasn't too appropriate for land expropriation and then all redistribution, and it would have been very explosive. Okay, that some people may say, okay, because they had the goodwill in the international community. If he had done that immediately, he would have immediately lost the goodwill, because we know the challenges Mugabe faced when he embarked on that journey. It was very turbulent. And so I thought Mandela was right. Yes, I agree with you. Now or never. So now or never. I agree. Let's move on. But let's make sure the laws are being utilized. And then the consequences, the ramifications, you cannot do away. Big Brother America will definitely come in. The DAs, they are majority white.
Absolutely.
You get it?
Absolutely. They are majority white. So obviously we see the interest of the Afrikaners.
Yes.
But you see, the exigencies of now requires that some very unpopular decisions are taken.
Yes.
And it's, for instance, when we passed the Preventive Detention Act, people, right now are criticizing it. But at the time, the question is, was it necessary at the time? Yes, it was. Now it may not be, but at the time, the exigencies of them, you are absolutely. By the time,
Kwame, mostly we are emphatic on content, not context. And anytime I tell you emphatic on content without considering context,
context is key.
Very key. You'll be misleading.
Absolutely.
In communication, context is important. In governance, context is important. In everything in life, context is important. So I want to believe that Mandela did the best, just as my colleague has said. His was reconciliatory, and even that concept should continue to characterize the politics of South Africa, because we should be in a position when forgiveness must override vindictiveness.
Okay, thank you very much. I agree that Mandela's predisposition at the time was conciliatory. But at the time, was there steps taken in that regard? No. It was easy because in Ghana, for instance, when Kufuor won power, he sought to sort of address all the bottled up emotions that people had relative to the exigencies of the past. And so there was a deliberate attempt at reconciliation. That didn't happen in South Africa. They just allowed the system to operate. You get the point? So the deliberateness of the decision of government is key to the outcomes of people's reaction in that regard. And so I mean, I just want to
viewers should understand.
Yeah,
it's not in every situation, and I want to put it to my brother. It's not in every situation that the people, the whites are not compensated. I think some are compensated, others are not.
Right. So let's come back to Ghana. And I have cited a letter. I think almost all of us have cited the same letter issued from the Office of the President, Republic of Ghana, in relation to a revocation of appointments and recruitment made after 7th of December 2024. Letter dated 10th of February 2025, Jubilee House, PO Box 1627, Accra. Digital address is there, and the letter reads. Let me just go to the content and the context. Consistent with government pronouncement in relation to near end of tenure appointments and recruitment, I wish to bring to your attention that all appointments and recruitments made in the public services of Ghana after 7th of December 2024 are not in compliance with established good governance practices and principles. Accordingly, all heads of government institutions are hereby requested to take the necessary steps to annul any such appointments or recruitment and submit a comprehensive report on the actions taken to this office by 17th of February 2025. Your cooperation in this matter is highly appreciated. Signed, Julius Debra, Chief of Staff, all heads of government institutions. Now, I am a little concerned because it brings to the fore some very disturbing situations which ought to be addressed. And again, I'm going to set the tone. I may be wrong, you may be right, but I believe that in the spirit of inclusivity, we must discuss issues devoid of partisanship and devoid of perhaps personal interest, sentiments, emotions, etc. Right? And I want to start the conversation on the backdrop of the 1992 Constitution. And I want to start the discussion from Article 24 of the 1992 Constitution, which states that every person has the right to a freedom of speech and expression, which shall include freedom of the press and other media, freedom of thought, conscience, and belief, which shall include academic freedom, freedom to practice and to manifest practice, freedom from thought, conscience, and religion, freedom to hold opinions and receive and impart information without interference. It emphasizes the importance of fundamental rights and freedoms in Ghana, guaranteeing citizens' right to express themselves, practice the faith, and access information, and all of that, right? Now, the reason why I brought this particular issue in is because we are setting a certain precedent which may, in the final analysis, affect the generality of the Ghanaian people. I think what ought to be understood is that in this country, after elections, we come back to factory setting. We are all Ghanaians, irrespective of which political party you belong to, right? And so, recruitments, appointments, employments, all are processes. They are not an event. So you cannot say that because somebody was given an appointment letter on the 8th of December 2024, that person was employed on that day. Now, the question is, if we know that employment and all these things are event, and I mean process is not an event, why are we asking all heads of state institutions, public institutions, government institutions, and government agencies to terminate appointment of persons who were employed from the 7th of December to date? I just want to understand it. That are we saying that all persons, because others are saying that it is politically motivated, and I know I'm talking too much, but I just want to broaden the conversation, right? Others are saying it's politically motivated. Others are saying that it's political persecution. others are saying that, a lot of the MPP people were put into those institutions just so they can continue to advance the interests of MPP. To some extent, you can agree that it may be true, but does that negate the fact that as a Ghanaian, you should be able to work freely, independently, devoid of any persecution? Aye, let me start with you.
Thank you very much. I think that the point must be made clear to the people of Ghana that the government of His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama and his ministers and leadership does not have any intention to malign any Ghanaian whatsoever. The government of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama would not do anything to harm, to cause pain to any Ghanaian or whatsoever. You see, the point is that due diligence must be followed. We must respect the processes of governance. We must respect and honor due process. That's why I'm saying that the government of His Excellency the President will not deliberately harm or cause pain to any Ghanaian. And it is important that when we are analyzing matters like this, the timing, very important.
Okay.
The intent is very important. The circumstances surrounding the appointments and employment are extremely important if you want to have an honest analysis and debate. The Chief of Staff did not just write this letter. You recall that some time ago, the Chief of Staff wrote letters, administrative letters, to state institutions and departments and other agencies to give the office of the president a list of all appointments that happened within a particular point in time. You agree with me? Yeah. A forensic audit has been done. And you recall that even during transition, we raised concerns about some overwhelming employments and overwhelming payments that were being done during the transition period. And you know that when you are transitioning and you make such employment and appointment, it is the government that is coming that will bear the brunt. At a time when Ghana's economy itself, we were unable to pay our debts. You understand the point I'm making? Evidence shows that serious provisions of the labor laws and labor acts were breached. There were people who were appointed into some government institutions and state institutions even without going through mandatory medical examinations. People did not even write people did not even write application letters to seek jobs. People did not go through necessary interviews for jobs. And so various sections of the Employment Act and Labor Act were breached. You understand the point I'm making? And the preponderance of appointments made within that particular time does not suggest that they were being done in good faith. Number two, and it is important that we communicate clearly to the people of Ghana. And the people who unfortunately whose appointment have been terminated will have the opportunity to reapply and go through the necessary steps in order to secure their appointments back. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. We must respect the laws that govern us. And you see,
there's something in law we call taekwondo. That persons who are dealing with some companies must not concern themselves with internal arrangements of that particular company, right? Insofar as they have satisfied their own requirements. Somebody has made an application for a job. As part of the requirements, the person is supposed to undergo some medical examination. Through no fault of the person who applied, the said medical examination did not happen. Why must he suffer for the inability of the state institution to conduct itself well? Why? So if the person is supposed to undergo some medical treatment, and you admit that if the person reapplies, the likelihood that you are going to employ the person is high, why then do you not keep these people there and then ask them to rather do the other things which in your estimation were not done? Why must you fire them?
In fact, you see, sometimes I also, like I said, from where I sit, serious forensic audits were done. And I can say on authority that there were people who were actually just called from home to come for appointment letters, and the appointment letters were backdated as far as September last year. What it means is that they will be taking salaries from that time to now. When they did not work for September, they did not work for October, they did not work for November, they did not even work for December. But I don't think it's fair.
They have the qualification for the job?
Oh, it's not about the qualification.
No, I'm just asking.
Of course, they have. They do have. But the intention behind it.
But the intention, even the devil does not know the intention of man.
Oh, sometimes it is extremely clear.
No. That is why. That is why. It is very difficult to prove the intention of man. Very difficult.
You see, we are all,
because you see, right now we are all conjecturing.
No.
Hold on, we are all conjecturing. Because as we sit today, we don't know the intention of the employers. Okay? When they decided to employ those people. No, the intention. How do you arrive at the conclusion? Your intention is gleaned from your political lenses.
No. Our viewers watching it this morning will understand. You cannot tell me that for your 8 years in government, you employed 200 people, but immediately you lost the election, you are employing 2,000 people. You cannot tell me that the intention behind it is good. And that is what we are seeing with this appointment.
So the employment took place from when? 7th of December.
Some of them were given an appointment on 9th, 10th appointment letter when it had actually been backdated that they were employed in August, September. So they will be taking salaries, and I'm being very honest with you, all majority of them are people who have tied their apron strings with the government that left. And I don't think that it gives fair opportunity to individual or let me say, for want of a better word, ordinary Ghanaians who also want to go through the same processes. It has not been fair. So I'm saying that there is no malice attached to it. The government of His Excellency the President does not have any intention to punish any Ghanaian. The said people have the opportunity to reapply. Government is always willing. I mean, President Mahama has said that government is open for business. We are rolling out the 24-hour economy policy. The economy is going to be expanded. There will be more jobs for the people of Ghana. But we must respect due process. We must respect the labor laws and other laws governing employment of people. So that at the end of the day, all of us can be assured that people who are employed into government sector will have the necessary weight, the necessary gravitas to deliver on whatever role that they have been. Not, shortcutting the processes in order to give undue and unfair advantage to people who are aligned to your political party. I don't think it's something that we must encourage this.
When some 13,000 people were sacked by the Eswal administration, former President John Dramani Mahama, now current President Mahama, took to his socials to question why Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo will be sacking people. And in his estimation, it did not augur well for the forward march of this country. Is he not repeating the very same thing that he questioned?
I don't understand your question.
No, my question is really clear, very clear.
So hold on.
That Akufo-Addo, during his tenure, sacked some 13,000 people, public sector workers. President Mahama
deemed to be political.
Yes.
And these are people who were appointed after the election.
No, I've not spoken about whether or not they were in the timing. I'm not talking about timing.
Yes, that's why when I was
I'm
making
talking
the
about revocation of employment or termination of contract is termination of contract, irrespective of the time frame. So the question I'm asking is that if President Mahama at the time thought that did not augur well for the forward march of this country, why is he not righting those wrongs? Why is he now doing the exact same thing that he questioned?
I think that you are being unfair to President Mahama because we have to know the context. The 13,000 people that were sacked, were they people that were already in them? Because I know people like the current NIA boss, Yaira Kuku. The current NIA boss, Yaira Kuku, was sacked from NIA. A man who was already working with NIA for many years was sacked because he was associated with the NDC. But what I'm talking about is overwhelming employments that have been done immediately after the election. That did not go through the proper methods of employing equity. But I think that the context must be clear so that our viewers will understand.
Well, thank you very much, Samyaye, for that analysis. Dr. Marzuk, in as much as you may have your own position on the matter, I just want you to also respectfully, in your analysis, look at a situation where we are creating a system of divisiveness. Where if you are not aligned to any political party and there's change of government, you will suffer. Because people must understand that the two main political parties that we have do not constitute the 33 million Ghanaians we have in this country. At best, they may be 5 million. And this is me being charitable with the numbers. So if you put them together, some 10 million. So how about the 23 million that are left? Now, it may interest you to know that there's a friend of mine who wanted a contract in Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo's administration. That friend of mine was not a political animal, but sympathized with the NDC. He pretended to be MPP just to get a contract. So, I just want us to look at this issue of termination of employment, revocation of contracts, and all the other attendant matters relative to same very carefully. Because if we do not eschew witch hunting, persecution from our body politic, in the next very foreseeable future, we may be sowing a seed of divisiveness. And that is why now people are killing people just so they can win political power. That is why now people are snatching ballot boxes, because they have tasted power. They know how sweet power is. But if we were to have a system where people can belong to different political parties, people can express themselves in accordance with Article 24 of the Constitution and not be persecuted, then we would have a country where all of us can contribute significantly to the growth of this country. So, yes, it may be justified that the Chief of Staff has issued the letter. But I want you to respectfully look at the issue from a broader perspective so that it may guide us going into the future. Maybe not now because the decision has already been taken. But going into the future, what precedent are we setting?
Thank you so much for the opportunity once again. You are coming to Dr. Marzuk. I thought you were going to my
No, let me come to you.
So that he will not accuse me of taking too much of time. No. All right. So yes,
He's always smiling.
Yes, but all right. Thank you so much. Because you've asked me to look at it broadly, I have decided to offer you a three-dimensional analysis. Dimension 1, face value. Looking at it on the face value. Dimension 2, looking at it within the context of Ghana's corrosive politics. And the last dimension is my personal stand on the issue. The first dimension, on the face value, if you look at it very well, there is absolutely nothing good about it. On the face value, it is wrong, it is unacceptable, it is illegal, and I will urge the victims to go to court to challenge that decision. So that at the end of the day, we will be able to quantify and to understand the power of the will of the people against the power of the will of the politician. It is wrong. It is political vendetta. It is part of Ghana's corrosive politics. It is absolutely unnecessary. It is partisan, it's unpatriotic. Why? President John Mahama, whom I respect and love so much, promised to create jobs for the youth. And your first approach is to sack the youth from jobs. That is unacceptable. And I'll come to the so-called justification. I'll come to that. That is unacceptable. It's not unifying. You have promised that you would offer jobs to the teeming youth. Now your first approach is that based on your conviction that these people are not politically correct, or they were recruited by your opponent, and based on that assumption, not fact, fiction, not fact, you think that their appointment should be terminated? That is wrong. We spoke this way when MPP members were misbehaving. We spoke this way, and we will continue to speak. We won't be silent, because silence in the face of outright injustice is nothing more than connivance. We won't be part of the connivance. We won't be silent. We will speak. We continue to call for public solidarity with the regime, but when the regime misbehaves, we will speak. We won't be cowards. We won't be hypocritical. We will continue to state our minds, to speak in the best interest of the people. That decision is unacceptable, and the whole country should rise against that. The first justification, the previous government did that. They did it wrong, and so what? They did that and did other wrong things, and for that reason Ghanaians rejected them. That circle of political vendetta must stop. That circle of partisan manipulation of the future of the youth of this country must stop. We cannot agree. You claim that employment procedures were breached. Well, that is your claim. Bring it. Bring it to the public. Let us know, in the interest of fairness, accountability, and transparency. Let us know how these breaches were done. Let us know. If you cannot, if you think that it's so confidential and you cannot, let a court of competent jurisdiction establish that. And that is why I'm urging the victims to go to court. If the government cannot take the whole employment process to court to question it within the context of the legality, rationality, and civility, then the victims must proceed to court. And people like you, very good lawyers like you,
I'm willing to assist.
yes, should assist those people.
I'm willing to assist. That's
let us tell. Yes,
yeah.
I'm telling you, they must go to court.
Yeah.
Let us use this as a test case. As a test case.
It must stop at
yes,
some point.
We should use this as a test case to dismantle the venomous effects of duopoly. The NDC NPP misbehavior must stop. We should not. We spoke the same way. You know my stand.
Absolutely.
Yes. Anytime I thought NDC misbehaved, I spoke. Anytime I thought NDC misbehaves, I will speak. Because as I said, silence in this context amounts to connivance. And I will not connive with anybody to misrule this country. It is wrong. It must stop. 2, 3. I mean, Julius Debra said he has done forensic examination or whatever. Where is the point? We are people of this country. We are entitled to what affects us. We are entitled to what affects the future of our youth. He should share the reports with us. He should share the reports with us. Because he is acting in trust. He is acting on the basis of our own will. So he cannot keep it to his chest and ask us to believe him. He is a politician. We cannot have absolute trust in him. We respect him. We love him. We adore him. We value him. But when it comes to matters of facts, matters of transparency, matters of accountability, he should be more public than partisan. He should share the report with us. That is unacceptable. It's just like the oral and the occult. You are preaching oral and practicing occult. It's the same thing. That must stop. That is not in the interest of even the party. Because the party, as it is now, is enjoying a lot of goodwill. And that goodwill must not be sacrificed on the altar of partisan, yes, extreme partisanship or political vendetta. This is pure political vendetta. And people did that. Yes, they did that. It was wrong. NDC is doing it. It's still wrong. And those of us who have decided to be apolitical, and those of us who have decided to be more patriotic than partisan, will continue to speak. It is wrong. So on the face value, it is wrong. And I'm challenging anybody who claims that a so-called forensic establishes the rationality of it, to share the report with me, to share the report with everybody, so that we will know.
I want to see the report.
Yes, we need to see the report.
And it is important. It is important because we need to have an oversight responsibility on the actions and inactions of government. One thing is clear, that government is a servant of the people.
Exactly.
And when decisions are taken, decisions must be taken for and in the interest of the people of this Ghana, not in the interest of NDC,
not in the interest of
MPP,
of the ruling party.
So I agree to that extent that the forensic report, which led to the decision by the Honorable Julius Debra to terminate and revoke appointments of all these people, must be brought to the fore, so that we can have a discussion, a proper discussion on that.
Sure.
I've seen some messages here, and it's quite interesting that, KOD, I think Dr. Marzouk is not making any headway with the submission. So the future government can employ 10,000 knowing he's leaving office. You see, and this has always been the position of some persons, that the fact of a government leaving office, you see, you leave office, yes, you lose an election on the 7th of December, but you are still the government, which is why when people were misbehaving and people were calling on the then President-elect John Dramani Mahama to act, they couldn't act because he said he was not the president at the time. It is only for the purposes of good governance and proper procedural practices, which is why some of the things are left untouched. Otherwise, the administration that is about leaving office still has the power until the 7th of January 20 the following year.
Exactly.
So are they stopped from working because somebody has won an election,
or because there is in place a transition team? No, you see, so the person should have even waited for me to finish. I mentioned 3 areas I've done with the first area, the first dimension. The second, of course, that's the first dimension. The second dimension, I'll be brief.
But we can have. So I have to even give Aya another time, maybe 2 minutes more. So
the second dimension is that when you look at it, if you analyze it within the context of the Ghana's corrosive politics, the duopoly, the unproductive duopoly, then you may find an iota. Listen to my word. An iota of justification. If you look at it from within the context of Ghana's corrosive politics, you may find an iota of justification, because it is nothing but tit for tat. And that iota of justification itself is not good for us. It is not in the interest of the people of Ghana. So please, let's de-emphasize that. Now, my personal position is that this is an opportunity for us to ensure that the people of Ghana become the rulers themselves. It reminds me of an Arabic adage, رئيس القوم خادمهم. The leader of the people is the servant of the people. So the politicians should know that we are the people with power. We are only serving them. They are only serving us. And therefore they are serving us from our own power. They should know that. My appeal to NDC is that let them reconsider their decision and furnish us with the report. Let them do proper investigation. It is true, in fact it is true, that not everything could be right. Let them, and even by your submission, you say some this, some that, some that. Let them come out with modalities that will ensure that those who were properly recruited are maintained. Those who they think were not properly recruited should be given the sanctions. Yeah. And even those who are given the sanctions can still go to court to challenge it. Yeah. But I strongly believe that the mass termination of the appointment is not in the interest of the good people of the Republic of Ghana. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Council. I think the issues mostly the Chief of Staff did say good governance and co, but I thought some is hinged on morality, is not by law. So far, Dr. hasn't given me, Dr. Aya hasn't given me any legal basis for the revocation, you know. So, and I'm happy you're a lawyer here.
I'm happy you've mentioned Dr. Aya.
Yes, Dr. Aya. Yes. No. Thank you, Alaji. Yeah, so that basically is a morality matter. They are assuming, and you're a lawyer, so matters of law and morality are two different things. Okay, so what is the basis for that? And some of us disagree. Dr. Majid did say that he should adduce basis for that people didn't go for it. I was happy when, Council, you said it's a process, not an event. Some of these started in March. Okay? Yes, you can say you've gone through the process. Why wait till election before you make the appointments and all that? You get it? But the process had been ongoing. In fact, recruitment into immigration and the security services process started long ago. Okay? So some of these things, they didn't just happen. You must do your medicals, you must do this, you must do that, all of them, before ultimately, you know, they are pushed into training, and then, you know, employment is granted. So these are matters that we need to look at, and I agree with Dr. Alaji that the report should be made public, so we know the basis for that. I thought His Excellency the President has missed a golden chance to shine. Okay, so far it's agreed around this table that he is enjoying massive goodwill from the people. Okay, and some of these decisions are waning them away. Okay, it's the people I have here, the resetting Ghana's agenda, right? Resetting Ghana, jobs for the jobs, accountability, prosperity. Chapter 2, jobs for all. Chapter 2 presents our 24-hour economy policy, business development and sustainable job creation strategies. That is good. Then some people have been employed. I understand the figure is around 1,000 thereabout. You get it? So if about 1,000 people have been employed, and you say because of the timing, what has the timing got to do with the process and the ultimate decision to give them recruitment? Okay? Why? You were right. The law of the land gives the president up to midnight of 6th of January, post-election. That is the executive authority. Council Kwame, are we saying hypothetically that there's an external aggression on the 10th of December after election? We shouldn't act we shouldn't act because of what? Look, the Transition Act is something that is accepted, okay, and we are going by it, they are engaged, but that doesn't stop the executive president from exercising and discharging his duties as president of the land. Okay? Look, let's read Article 191. Article 191. Yes, I don't know whether that is not part of this thing, but protection of public offices. A member of the public services shall not be A, victimized or discriminated against for having discharged his duties faithfully in accordance with this constitution. Or B, dismissed or removed from office or reduced in rank or otherwise punished without just cause. 191 of the Constitution of Ghana.
Okay.
Read it. That's it. Protection of public office. Article 191. Is here.
Okay.
I did my homework before coming.
Okay.
Council.
Second.
You have it there. Okay, let me read. B. Dismissed or removed from office or reduced in rank or otherwise punished without just cause. Without just cause. Okay? That's where Dr. Ayer says they have a just cause, which just cause culminated from a certain forensic audit, which audit is not known to all of us. I wouldn't sit here and pretend, because there's been cases where we've set up a committee and the report has not been made public. Okay, so and there's been accusation against our government on that score. But hey, because of this, and you said all those culminated in our being booted out, right? Good. So why do you repeat some of these things? You get it? And it's not fair to these citizens of Ghana who have been so handled. I'm happy a lawyer and the current or national organizer of the opposition New Patriotic Party, Nana B, he's gone to court. He's asked his lawyers, Nana J and then Bewa, the MP for Manshia, not Safwa, a lawyer, one brilliant lawyer in Parliament. Oh, he's a member of the solid member of the bar. Nice guy, brilliant lawyer.
The MPP did not. Out of which that the MPP did not take this matter.
Yes, I think so.
No, it's an individual. So he has asked his lawyers to go. So he wants that legal interpretation of the matter.
No. I mean,
and I agree with Dr. Mazouk that the individuals should also take the matter. Is it Mazouk? Yes, so thank you.
Some of us could have taken the matter. Otherwise, we politicize it again.
Political ball game, and it's not. I'm happy the way you've handled and introduced this topic. Nationalistic point of view, I think it's all right. You get it. The president may disagree. Look, morally, you say the timing was that you can score political point with that. The legal matters and the empathy and the goodwill you enjoy from amongst the people. So you intend to create jobs for the youth, masses young people. Thousands of them have jobs. What happens? And the interesting irony is that on the 19th of December, 2016, an appointment was made to an auditor general in the country. Okay? About a week or so after obvious rejection, yes, that the president had lost. You get it? So, but he appointed a strategic position. Very strategic. Auditor general. What was it? Was it for, doing such a job for the opposition then? I'm talking dominant level. We all agree, one of the brilliant auditor generals this nation has ever had. I wouldn't hide that. Yes. I wouldn't hide that. Okay, he did excellent job. Okay, but it got to a point he was trying to be partisan. But that is another story. But he did an excellent job. But the time of appointment, was it proper and right? Okay, so I thought it was, because the executive president had authority to so act. If you disagree, okay, because those are high-ranking positions and you come in, you can also initiate process legally to say, I disagree with the initial appointment. You get a counsel. So I think it's good we are having this discourse. I agree with Alhaji Dr. Mazouk that we should have the report that forensically says people didn't even go to interview, people even didn't write application. It cannot be the case. To public service, it cannot be the case that people will not write application and they are given point. No. So I disagree with that. Let them make the report available. We take available.
Let me give it 2 minutes here.
When I began my submission, I said that the government of His Excellency the President will not deliberately do anything to harm the people of Ghana. And I have said rightfully on this platform that the people affected will have another opportunity to reapply, go through the processes and get appointed as they got appointed. The fundamental point I'm making on this platform is that we have overwhelming evidence, just like we hinted during the transition process, that there was an agreement between us, the transition team of John Dramani Mahama, and the transition team of President Akufo-Addo. We came to an agreement that public sector employment must be done in consultation with the government that is coming. That was flouted. And later we realized, according to the forensic evidence, forensic analysis that we did, that various sections of the recruitment processes were breached and flouted. I don't think that you will be happy to see somebody employed somewhere in a capacity that a lot of the recruitment processes, the processes involved, were flouted. I don't think that we should encourage it. We must be honest about this. How is it that only a day after election, thousands of people have been employed when that was not the case before the election? The intention behind it, that's why I'm saying that the viewers watching me this morning, they know and they understand what happened. We have situations where millions of cedis to a tune of 243 million were paid to companies whose work, as we speak, have not been substantiated. There is no evidence of work done, but 243 million cedis were paid to them. We have people who were promoted 2 or 3 times. They jumped the processes to become senior directors of state institutions when the people they actually came to meet there are still at where they are because they have political lenses and their political coloration among their ranks. And let
him advance.
I have the right to make my submission.
No, of course.
And from where I sit in government, I know what I'm saying. Unfortunately, I cannot come and mention names here. No. That is why you will not see me mention people's names. But the evidence is clear. That's why I'm saying that in due time, I believe that the Chief of Staff's office will issue a report to clarify some of these matters. I don't think that we should encourage a situation where employment laws, recruitment laws are breached in advancement of people's political agenda and all that. I think that the context must be clear. And just 30 seconds, I want to disagree with Doc here for saying that we are engaging in OCAM. Look, there is more than enough. There is more than enough evidence to suggest that some of those prosecutions that were withdrawn by the Attorney General were nothing more than political persecution. There was no prosecution. No. The Attorney General had the Attorney General had the right, based on his discretion as the Attorney General, to engage in what he engaged in. No protocol. No. It's my time. I beg you. No. I beg. Nobody. No. It's true.
I think
definitely the Attorney General.
About entertainment.
Yes.
It's fair. It is fair for him to just touch on that by reason of Doc's position. So let's pardon that.
That in this week, maybe today, tomorrow, or Friday, or maybe Monday, the Attorney General will hold a press conference to the people of Ghana and tell the people of Ghana why. Because I don't think that even the Constitution says that prosecution must even happen within a reasonable time. Is that not it? There are laws. No. Hold on. Counsel. You know that as part of our criminal jurisprudence, prosecution must happen in a reasonable frame of time. You cannot tell me that you hold somebody before court for 8 years and you have not been able to provide any evidence to that effect. No. Hold on. If there was anything like that, those matters would have been settled. It is clear. So we are not engaging in Operation Clear or Loot. This is what happened was a clear political persecution. There was no merit in it.
Okay, so the guy.
Council, let's proceed. Because
please, you know, in the first place, I love him so much, and he's good. If the way you've approached the issue, I love it. Thank you so much. But let me also say, yes, I'm not a lawyer, in my pursuit, in my journalistic pursuit, I've worked closely with lawyers, and I've even covered the former president when he was defending the free press in the criminal libel case. So I understand. My basic understanding of the law is that the Attorney General has the right to initiate any action against anybody at any time. He or she has the right to discontinue that action against anybody at any time. But I also know that not everything legal is productive. That aspect, the prosecutorial jurisdiction of the Attorney General as it stands now, is whimsical and capricious. It is legal, but it's not ethical. It is legal, but it's not constructive. It is legal, but it's not in the good interest of the people. So this should give us the opportunity. His Excellency President John Mahama has suggested constitutional review. I am proposing that the constitutional reviewers should look into the opportunity of separating the office of the Attorney General from the Ministry of Justice, so that the position of the Attorney General will be held by a non-politician, a technocrat, who will not use the prosecutorial jurisdiction whimsically and capriciously.
But no, we can't let you go like that.
Yes.
Why are you saying it's whimsical and capricious?
It's whimsical and capricious
under the law.
Yes.
If somebody is accused of having committed an offense,
yes,
the prosecution is supposed to adduce evidence to support or buttress the allegation being leveled against the said person.
Yes.
The prosecution is obligated by the law to prove beyond reasonable doubt that such persons have committed an offense. There are processes. So the prosecution will open their case, the prosecution will do all of that. Then when it is time for the defense to also open their defense, there's something in between that we call an application for submission of no case. Now that application for submission of no case, I have three angles. I've forgotten all of them. But one is that the prosecution has been unable to prove their case. Two, that there is no evidence pointing to the fact that the said, offense had been committed. Three of them I've forgotten. The last one, right? Or there are no witnesses or something like that, right? Then the judge will now have to determine. It's a discretionary ruling by the judge. Okay. So the judge can determine that, on this matter, it is my discretion that the prosecution has not been able to prove its case, and therefore I am acquitting and discharging, so that the defense will not even be allowed to open their defense.
Let me simplify your work for you.
It's actually very simple.
Yes.
Because we are not just the ones here.
Yes.
People are also watching.
Yes.
And that is why I've taken my time and I'm going through the process.
And I'm telling you now, maybe the context in the context.
Respectfully, because you see, you used whimsical and capricious.
Yes, I understand by that. And I'll tell you why.
Whimsical and capricious.
Yes.
In relation to the application for withdrawal, I find it a little confusing, because if the prosecution had evidence, if the prosecution had enough basis for prosecuting these persons, they would have done so.
Okay. So Kwame, all I am saying is that, you see, just a minute. Kwame, let me even point of announcing court decision. Yes.
No.
Kwame, you have even taken. Let's come back to context. Let's come back to context. Maybe I didn't add the context. The use of these two adjectives, whimsical and capricious, is in relation to the discretion of the Attorney General to even initiate a case. Okay. That is the context.
Okay, I agree.
Fantastic.
So you are saying that the law, which allows the Attorney General to file either null prosecution or withdrawal, have to be looked at.
Yes.
Because again, also
that discretion.
But I agree with that, because
I made it clear. Even according to the constitution.
I think even with withdrawal of cases, I think it's section 59 or so of the criminal.
Yes.
that one, there shouldn't be any explanation and justification for it.
That's what I'm saying. That law should impose an explanation for him.
Which is why I is also saying that the Attorney General will hold a press conference and explain to Ghanaians.
No problem about that. So I think it's not understood that position. Yeah, the discretion.
Okay.
You see, okay.
So I think you've made your point.
Yes.
Let's come to
on Dr. Ayer that within 8 years, and when they were delivering a lawyer, delivering processes, challenging some judges on the cases. Yes, so those were delay tactics deployed by the lawyers and co. Okay, when the judge is put on the case, oh no, because of this, no, it's bad. So when it delays the process, you say 8 years. No.
Disrespect our procedure.
No. But some procedures are deliberate to thwart the administration of justice.
Is it part?
They are deliberate to thwart the process of strategy. It's strategy. No. Are you saying it's not part of the legal processes? It is. I will say there's been deliberate. This is consistent.
Your party members are saying you don't criticize it. Your party members are saying you don't criticize it.
I'm not saying the law did not discount that. They allow them to use that. Yes, and it delayed the process.
Can we have a good show?
Yes, but let me finish.
No, I'm just trying to correct an impression.
Yes.
Oh no, when a judge is on a case, Mr. MC,
yes,
and you have reason to believe that the judge will be biased, you can raise it.
Of course.
Because in justice delivery, right, the rules require fairness, just equality.
The rule of cases. There's been cases where a judge can refuse to accuse himself. He gives rulings on that. There's been a current case in Kufuor.
What I'm saying is that hold on, you're not getting the point. The point I'm making is that
I agree
the fact of somebody applying to the court.
No, when it becomes consistent.
That is part of the rules.
The process. It's strategy. Let's do it. No, let me finish. Then the other one. No. Let me finish. Yes. Thank you very much.
I said, I'm with the power.
Yes, deliberate. And then again, there are some cases. Are you telling me that the case of Suckling, when the Parliament of the Republic of Ghana approved 200 million for 5,000 housing units, and you go and build 1,506 units, they say affordable. The Parliament approved 40,000 affordable. When you build that money with 1,506, what it tells me is that it translates the cost of unit to $187,000. Is that affordable? Okay. I think
it's one of the cases that people are.
Yes. Why should that be discontinued? What is the basis for? It is Operation Clear All Roots.
Relax.
Okay.
Let's have a good show.
Is that to condone the government of the Bank of Ghana? The government of the Bank of Ghana.
That's why I gave it 2 minutes.
First people, one has been taken out, they're waiting for us to face it.
Okay, I see, hold on. Hold on.
The case intertwined.
Do you know that in the case of
please.
Do you know that in the case of Dr. Puni and Seydou Agongo, the defense actually brought in exculpatory evidence which were not contested by the prosecution? You know that?
Yes.
The judge struck it out. So exculpatory evidence which prosecution did not contest, in that in fact the trial ordinarily should have been continued on that path.
Okay.
When the judge went
to
proceed, the judge was given another 6 months. A new judge comes, he says he will start the trial de novo, and he is transferred from the case to another region. This smart of bias.
All right. Thank you.
You will not be happy.
All right.
You transfer a judge. No. A judge sitting on the case. You transfer the judge because he said he will start a case de novo. If it were you, will you be happy?
All right. Let's proceed.
If it were you, will you be happy?
Let's proceed.
Please.
Let's proceed. Now let me read a few. Let me hold on. Gentlemen. Dr. Mazuk, respectfully. Good morning to you. Hold on. Can I? Please, is it what this show? You know, this show. So let's. Good morning, Dr. Mazouk. Good morning. Dr. Mazouk used to be neutral in his deliberations in the past until October 2024, when he became the mouthpiece for the MPP, the Chief Justice, and the Judicial Service, proving that he is MPP member hiding behind. When the 13,000 Ghanaians were sacked in 2017, he knows that definitely people will come after him. What was his response? Did he advise them to go to court? Also, is it only today that Georgia Isi knows about the Article 191 of the Constitution? Let's stop the joke. Isaac. Please, this is the time for the viewers. The viewers, please. From Yusuf. Good morning to you, KOD. Please kindly remind my MPP brother that it is still fresh in our minds when NDC lost 2016 elections. Safumafo clearly indicated that they will revoke all the appointments of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama.
Yes, you did. Go and ask Yaya.
Good morning to you, KOD. Please ask. Can I respectfully read the messages? Good morning to you, Mr. Isi. Please ask Mr. Isi, who was the former spokesperson of NADMO. I watched him on all platforms. He represented the MPP. Never in a day did he talk about NADMO. How workers are suffering with no better salary, with no better allowances, with no better working conditions. But today, look at the strength he's using to condemn this government. Why didn't he use the same energy to fight for NADMO workers? Malam Danjuma sent him this one.
In fact, as part of the reason journalists
hold on, respectfully.
Misinforming the public.
Let's so much noise over there. Yeah, I agree, because today the interjections, I'm not comfortable with it. You see, you are sitting here with the former running mate. You people are not giving my office respect. Alhaji Hamza in Payfast says, good morning to you, my brother. KOD, please permit me to use your platform this morning to say a very big thank you to President for reducing the Hajj fare from $75,000 to $62,000. This is something a Muslim Vice President Dr. Bawumia could not do. We are so grateful to President Mahama and the NDC. Very soon, and I mean very soon, additional one-day holiday is going to be added. All right, thank you very much.
So subsidy, there will be subsidy, right?
The revocation and appointment of MPP aficionados is in the right direction. And we must commend the indefatigable Chief of Staff, Julius Debra. All right. Written by Ernest Evalov Kwashi from Dansuman. Few messages here. Let me proceed. One of the things that I think politicians ought to know is that you don't win an election with your party numbers. You win an election with the other numbers or with the persons who do not belong to your party. And the reason why I'm a little worried about the decision of Honorable Julius Debra is not because he is not right to perhaps take a decision that finds expression in the position of the party, right? But how do you know whether or not the people that you are even sacking did not vote for Mahama?
Exactly.
Especially when we have all admitted here that Mahama is enjoying a lot of goodwill. Yes. And I can tell you for a fact that there are so many MPP people who voted for Mahama. Oh. So many. So many. And there are so many people who also stayed away. They didn't vote for the MPP. And that helped. So you cannot come and say that because you want to satisfy your party.
A latest listing by Dr. Uefriye that Holy Star, to me. It's actually an NDC person. And the husband is rather the MPP person.
You see?
So she's become a victim.
But that's how it is. Let's proceed. Let's proceed. Fighting corruption. Oh, Charlie, we don't have time to discuss corruption. But let me 2 minutes. There's one particular issue that's very disturbing. The murder of JB Dankwa. I think we've not dealt with it enough. I don't know what has become of the prosecution. I've not followed it, to be honest. I'm guilty of. Are they going to withdraw the case again? Because
the guy has not been honest with the public and the judicial process. Today he accuses this. He tried to play political ball game with all of us.
There are cases which are pending, which in my estimation ought to be looked at and taken up by the Attorney General. Ameswale's murder is a matter that ought to be dealt with conclusively.
Yes.
JB Dankwe's
It's ongoing.
Fennec, is it Fennec Ochi?
Yeah. You need evidence.
No, but you see, it makes you, I guess, scared that these matters are not dealt with. And I'll tell you why. Because recently, my home was attacked. I've not said this anywhere. I'm even stepping to my house. Yes.
I'm robbers.
Yes.
So I thought that.
So imagine if
brigade.
Oh, that means what have I done? I was only a young what I wish I had money. Our campaign was predicated on goodwill. Now, and by the way, I supported Alan Chemantin, and I still believe in him because my engagement with him taught me so many lessons.
He's a gentleman.
Beyond him being a gentleman, it's also his death-defying love for Ghana. I'm sorry?
He's not a team.
He's not a team player. Oh, but Akufo-Addo is also not a team player. He's not. No, he was not a team player because you see, when you have somebody who cannot Then Akufo-Addo.
No.
Because if he were not a team player in 2000
you don't walk away from the team. Things are not in your favor.
No. Why were things not in his favor?
Because he was convinced the people.
He was not treated fairly.
Oh no.
When Akufo-Addo, at some point there was party affirmation for Akufo-Addo.
In 2007.
There was party affirmation for Akufo-Addo.
No,
and confirmation for Akufo-Addo. What prevented the party from confirming Alan?
The advantages Alan had, these things were dismissed because they openly showed support to Akufo-Addo.
Yeah, we are done. We are even done. We are done. So thank you very much, Dr. Mazu. Thank you very much, Dr.
Akufo-Addo will be teaching the Alan boy. Asare and then Sylvester. You are back. You are coming for cabinet. Today. That is true. Sylvester was a poor chairman. He was never.
Some people will be arrested.
You get it.
Okay.
For Ora.
Okay.
As for the Ora,
By the end of the day, we will see some arrests. Some investigations.
if Ora doesn't take
I think
place,
that.
Is a lack of course.
Please.
They should go.
do you know I'm a champion of Ora?
Of course. You are G3. You are G3.
Ora must take place.
This is a golden opportunity for this thing.
This is a golden
Because
opportunity
I told the former auditor general says they are now going to audit some of the things that have been.
Oh yes, but that should be the case.
Yes, that is when the legal was.
Former President John Mahama should use as an opportunity.
Nothing.
As an opportunity.
Nothing will happen.
To discourage people from.
It's a political witchcraft.
I'm telling you, it shouldn't be. That's why I am opposed.
Nothing will happen.
That's why I'm opposed to anything.
It will just be back and forth. Nobody will be prosecuted.
We are still not.
Prosecution of the line. The first is
You are still not respecting my office. You are still not respecting
we
my
are
office.
having some engagement.
Thank you very much. Mr. Isi, thank you. Thank you, Doc Mazu. Thank you, Doc Samaya. Let me say a big thank you to the viewers for watching today's edition of Good Morning Africa. Unfortunately, we couldn't discuss the other matters, but I believe that we have educated ourselves.
Very well.
Our views.
It's been a fruitful engagement. I thought we said we were interjecting.
Views expressed today are views expressed in the interest of this country.
Yes.
Nobody has anything against anybody. We all are wishing the president well. We all want the president to succeed.
Yes.
Because when he succeeds, Ghana succeeds. And when Ghana succeeds, all of us will benefit.
Yes.
So I have no qualms at all if we are taking decisions. So now the appeal. Oh, can I end the show nicely? My appeal is to the people who are extremely partisan. You can be partisan,
yes,
but extreme partisanship is what brings about divisiveness. Sure. So that you know that this thing that is happening is very wrong, but because it is your party that is in power, you do not want to talk about it. And it is important that it is important that we do that. Now, my brother Osman Ayariga was interviewed, and he made some. Oh no, I watched the video. You know, he did not. Yeah, he did not. No. He's a very. He did not say it. You see, there's.
I wrote on one platform.
Hold on. Can I make a point? You see, in his communication, he's a lawyer. He's a lawyer.
I know.
But communication in politics is different from communication in law. You may have a position that you would want to put across, but if you are not careful, you will not be able to put out the information in a manner that you so desire.
So what are you talking about?
But Mr. You see, the fact that
he said it was the lip context. No, but I don't believe he said
it. No. He said that his first preference is to the youth of the NDC. That's what he said. Preference.
He thinks he's still the deputy youth of.
And so,
who are also youth.
Yeah, they are also, yes, but the MPP, Movement for Change, CPP, PNC, so they are not Ghanaians, eh? They are not. You see, but that's the problem. So are you saying that because Movement for Change, hold on, I'm coming. Oh, can I make a point? Hold on.
Yes.
Hold on. Dr. Mazu, the challenge in this country is that CPP may never win power in the next foreseeable future.
Yeah.
PNC may never win power in the next foreseeable future. Movement for Change, we are not a political party, it's just a movement, independent movement. And we didn't win. So we don't know when we are going to win, right? MPP may, because they are, whether we like it or not, they are the largest opposition. So they may win again. You see, so if we get to the point where we are saying that if you don't belong to a party that is likely to win an election, you may not get a job to do in this country, that's problematic.
Civil disobedience.
That is problematic.
The other option.
And if you look at all the other, because we
it's
cannot
all misconduct of oral brigade.
We cannot all belong to. We cannot all belong to one party.
No. You see, to be very honest, I don't think that's exactly what was communicated. What he meant. I don't think that. Oh yes, I know, but maybe I probably miscommunicated. Just to energize the base.
All right, thank you very much, guys. I'll see you tomorrow.
Now, once council has said it, means he has done it. I'll talk to him and then.